Hello, welcome to Thrive Live. This is our 11th episode and we are in Cambridge today. We've got some lovely ladies here for you. Today we're going to be looking back at what life was like many years ago, thinking about what it was like in the past and how it compares to today. We've got some lovely guests to explain that.
I just wanna thrive here, grow into my space and boom. Don't just wanna survive here. We're gonna see each other through. The world is for me and you. I just wanna thrive here, grow into my space and boom. Don't just wanna survive here. We're gonna see each other through. The world is for me and you.
So we've got three lovely ladies here today. We've got Roba Drury. Hello.
Hello.
Our second lady is Fiona Fincham.
Hello.
And our third guest is Valerie Wilson. Hello. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here in Thrive Live. Before we get going, can I ask how old you are? Am I allowed to ask your age? 82.
68.
Oh, I know you shouldn't ask. I told everyone that you were all over 80, but anyway, it's lovely to have you here.
I know. I'm over 90.
Over 90.
Yes.
Wow.
I know. 93.
Wow. Well, I'm so excited to have you here. And today's topic is looking back at the past when you were younger and thinking, well, obviously life today is very different. What was it like?
A little bit different, I think. I was up in Scotland. I'm from Scotland. So my father ran a deaf club up there. You know, the schooling back then was awful. You know, when I was small, I was sent to school, and just the way the adults and their attitude was, they'd say, no, you've spelt this wrong, you've spelt that wrong. And I got beaten up, actually. I tried to run away. Yeah. Because where my home was, the school wasn't actually that far, and I physically tried to run away, and I did it a few times and then got beaten up, and I just didn't understand the adults. I was really small and I just obviously felt they were in the wrong, and I tried to get away to my mum, and my mum was deaf as well, but my grandmother was hearing, and she was lovely. She would come and take me in and have this lovely fur coat, and she really looked after me, my grandma. And I just felt like I was sort of deaf, alone in a hearing world, but my grandma was there for me. And then they'll do this, and they say, no, you've got to be quiet. You can't use your voice. You can't speak. I was like, oh, okay. And then I would get there, and when I next come, they would make this motion and say, nope, don't use your voice. And then I'd get beaten up for it. So I never knew what was right. But that was my experience of schooling.
That's really interesting. Your grandma told you to be quiet and kind of sit down, whereas, I don't know, now everything's very different. People a bit more direct, aren't they?
Very different.
Oh, it was terrible back then. Yeah. You kind of, had to stay where you want, sit down. It's very different now. So you mean kind of back then things were very different? Yeah, I don't think we were respected as much, and I think things have moved on a bit now. It's a bit more trying to be a bit nicer. So if at that time a person was a bit cheeky maybe and you felt a bit hurt, would you speak up, or did you have to kind of be quiet? Oh, I'd punch them.
No.
Really? Yeah, absolutely. When I was younger, I was the only deaf person. I have to be quite thick-skinned, so if I was being bullied, I'd hit them.
Well done.
And I might get told off, but I'd get away with it. Yeah. Okay. That's the same as my sister. If she was teasing me, she'd get the same treatment. Was that because of communication, do you think? Quite a lot of frustration because you couldn't communicate? Maybe you'd hit out? I think I'd just, if they were being rude, would they hit you back? No, not so much. Maybe a little bit. But at that time, I don't know. I don't know what people really thought of it. You just, if you wanted to communicate, you maybe write stuff down and kind of get on with it. Whereas now it's a bit different. Yeah, you can communicate a bit more and get things out more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have to think, like, how do you feel when you meet the people that were like that to you at school? Like, how would you react, and how would you react now? Do you think you'd react differently?
It's really different, isn't it? Like, if someone's not being very nice, you just kind of think, ugh, just being a baby, grow up. Just ignore them and just ignore them. Pretend you're not hearing them. Yeah, okay. So what was it like back when you were younger?
So I went to a deaf school near Great Yarmouth, Galston School for the Deaf. It was okay. But I was sent there at 2.5 years old. I went there to the deaf nursery just because, like, my parents had to work. So just had to get on with it, really. I stayed there and every couple of weeks went home. I wasn't really happy there. I loved to be at home.
Okay. So back in that time, most mums were kind of staying at home, weren't they? And dads would go out to work. Whereas now women are much more ready to go out to work and kind of get involved. So that's very different, isn't it, now? I'm just thinking about your perspective. When you were children, that you felt very different. What was kind of the difference between like your time and their time?
Very different.
What was it like?
So obviously, when I took children to school, like, I'd put the children in the pram, I'd get home, I'd do bits, I'd have to go. It's just the time would go.
Yeah, same for me. I lived in Romford when I was a baby. Started nursery at 2 to get the bus, but I didn't want to get the bus. I like to walk. I'd walk for miles. You kind of say goodbye and you'd come back, and then you go again, and just do that every time. I used to quite enjoy it. I was quite happy. And they were happy with that. So your children, were they the same? Did you drop them off at nursery, get someone else to pick them up, or did you pick them up?
I stayed at home.
For me, there were 3 of us, and we were all going to different places. So one of them would go to, I think, Boreham Wood. And then, they'd go to another place. So they've all kind of grown up now. I've got grandchildren now, great grandchildren. Wow. Wow. So that means now they say, "You're my great grandmother."
No,
Yeah. I've got 7 grandchildren. 7.
Oh.
And what about you, Robo? Have you got any are you a great grandma? You got grandchildren?
No, they're on the slow side. I'm still waiting.
You're a grandma, right?
Yes.
How many grandchildren? 3. Wow. How many grandchildren have you got?
I've got so many. I can't remember the exact amount. I think about 3 grandchildren. They're sort of grown up, but I haven't got great grandkids yet. That's the thing.
But life was very different back in those days when you were younger. People wait a lot longer to have children, don't they? People have children in their 30s and their 40s. Yeah, so I have 3 boys. They're all grown up now, and they have their own children. And now I've got 7 grandchildren who are grown up. They're 35 through to these are great grandchildren. Oh, grandchildren. So 35 down to 15. are the grandchildren. And then the great-grandchildren, 10 through to 2. Okay, so grandchildren 15. That's quite close to the great-grandchild, isn't it, age-wise? Wow. Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's really lovely to see them, at Christmas and Easter. They all come over, and it's a bit overwhelming, actually. And they're all hearing. Ah, interesting. Okay, so just thinking about in the past, everything's a bit more expensive now compared to then, isn't it? Is it a bit harder to do things, a bit more demanding? Yeah, absolutely. They're very spoiled, whereas I wasn't at all. What about you, Roba?
Well, like, given that money, I don't do that for gifts anymore. Yeah, it's just better, really, like, just to go, okay, here's a little something, it's your turn, you can pick what you'd like. I think it's better to do that.
Yeah, that's what grandchildren love, isn't it? They love their grandparents. Give me some money. If they get a present, they're always disappointed, but they love getting money, it seems.
No, I always ask what they want first and then get that. I think it's better to do that first.
Okay, so I'm thinking fashion was quite different in the past, wasn't it, compared to today? I know my mother's told me, she's 77 now. Oh, is she 77? Yeah, I think she's 77 now. Just trying to do the maths. So she told me that in the 60s, everyone had these kind of big hairdos and things like that. Did you guys have these big hairdos when you were in the 60s? Oh, well, I'd wear a kind of black dresses with white stripes and things. It's quite slimline. Nice material. I think that's about 60 to 65 maybe. Now, wear this. So, this is fashion today, isn't it? You're fashionable today.
Hot pants?
Oh, wow. Yeah, looking good.
I remember I used to buy hot pants, honestly. Oh, what pants? Hot pants? Oh, blimey. No, I didn't do that.
Pants. What was your fashion then if it wasn't hot pants?
It's hard to say. Well, sort of coming to London, and then I had a look at all the different markets and the fashions and sort of what to follow. But really, before I came to London, it was really tricky. I didn't think of London in a good way. I thought it'll be grey and this gloomy city. I didn't want to go. And Mum said, no, you're selfish. You're just thinking about yourself. We need to go. And then another boy's mother said, can I come to London with him? And for a trip. And my mum was like, great, it's a holiday in London. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to London. I love Scotland. I love the hills and the mountains. And we had a massive argument about that. But we had to leave. My mum won, won. Yeah, unfortunately. So took David and me, and we all went, and like my sister, and I got my sister to come, and she was just as much, oh, why have I got to go? I said, well, me and David, we've got to go. So we agreed, and then when we got to London, I wasn't a fan. I had a bad experience. I was trying to see where the nearest deaf club was back in the day, and I had a look, and I was so excited to go. And I found that there wasn't far from me, like one station over. I thought, oh, lovely, okay. And then when I arrived and I went into the deaf club, everyone had been signing to each other, and I looked around, and there wasn't any like, oh, hello, welcome, what's your name? Everyone just ignored us and carried on signing between themselves. And honestly, my confidence dropped. I thought, oh, this is a shame. Nope. And I was like, nope, I'm finished with London. This is enough. I've had enough of the London scene. I felt that it was really cruel. But it was lucky actually, because there was somebody who did come over. And it was this guy that I knew well in Scotland actually, and he came over and gave us such a lovely warm welcome. And if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have been around here. I would have gone, literally, I wouldn't have stayed.
So you wanted a deaf club kind of nearby. How did you work that out? Because you didn't have phones back then or Google. How would you even know where the deaf club was?
In the magazine, actually, it was in there. It said, "Where's the nearest deaf club?" It was perfect. I was really excited. That's why it was a bit of a shame, like, that we just weren't welcomed into it. And but that interaction could have changed my life without that man welcoming us in. And he's like, "Oh, I've forgotten your name." I'm like, "Oh, it's Roba." He's like, "Oh, yes, I remember. Come on in, come on in."
Yeah, everyone introduced, and then you get introduced to everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here without that.
Wow. Okay. So what about your first time visiting a deaf club? Do you remember your first time?
Yeah, so my first one that I remember, it was Bury St Edmunds Deaf Club. And I would go every Saturday. And then when I got married, we didn't go as much. And then I sort of lived in Cambridge, so it was a lot further.
Okay, and how did you know where the deaf club was? Did someone tell you?
Where was it? I found out from a guy.
A person, is that, yeah?
Yeah, Mr. Watson. Like, he just said about the deaf club, and it was lovely. We'd go and socialise, but they're not like that anymore. It's really sad.
Yeah, deaf clubs have started closing down.
Well,
It's still open.
Yeah, it's still open, that one, but it's a lot smaller now.
Wow. Do you still go?
Only occasionally. It's further to get to.
Oh, lovely. It's really interesting thinking about deaf clubs. Like growing up, I went to Luton Deaf Club. I was born near Luton Deaf Club, and we'd go there. It wasn't too far, and you'd see everyone signing, and everyone would go to the deaf club, and yeah, it's where you'd go. You'd go all the time growing up. What about your first deaf club? Well, my first deaf club was Romford. So there was me and another child, and there was a swimming pool. And yeah, we didn't even realise there was a deaf club there. So we kind of went along, and yeah, when we went in, saw people. It was nice. Yeah, when I went myself, I think people were looking at me. Why were people looking at you? I think people thought I was hard of hearing, and I said, no, I'm deaf, of course. And when they first asked me a question, like, where do you live? And I was like, in a house, council house. I said, oh, it's mine. I thought, well, it's a bit posh. But they didn't realise at that time, as a council house, they thought I was posh for having a house. Oh, you're looking at your husband.
Yeah.
He's over there watching. Yeah, so yeah, we'd go to the deaf club. Lots of people would go, and we carried on going, and we'd help out, in the deaf club. And you see lots of old people, and every week you'd see them, and you kind of help the OAPs. And then you'd go again, and they'd say, well, who are you? So you go and talk to them, and you see their face and try and be friendly. But it really grew. It was quite a surprise. Yeah, and they'd always say thank you, and you wouldn't just go once, you go twice, and you go for dinner, and do lots and lots and lots of different things, and make plans to go out. You go out on coach trips, go out to different places. Yeah, do you know, I remember when I was young, all the deaf people would get together, go on a coach trip, go out to so many different places, but now...
No, nothing like that
not
anymore.
so much, is there?
Yeah, and I think because also we now have cars, don't we? We don't technically need to get together on a coach. No, I do prefer a coach. I think coaches were good fun. You'd get on and you'd be chatting to everyone.
They're comfortable, aren't they? You kind of drive around, you get off. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
So now, I think people maybe look on Facebook and Instagram. They have to try and find events to go to, and they're often a bit last minute, and you end up booking, or you have to turn up last minute.
Oh, they're
and
too
it's
far.
all very last minute. But what was it like back then? Do you have to send a letter and you have to wait for ages?
Yeah, you had a letter or you had an RSVP form that you had to send off. But it would be like my mum would have to take me to the trip and then she'd drop me off.
Oh, it's so different nowadays, and everything's so last minute now. You can change your mind at the last minute and go to a different place. It's a different world.
But I think it's really difficult to organise things like this because you need to make sure you've got the numbers and that people are coming. If people are going, I'll see nearer the date, it's not right for those organising. You need to make a decision. Like, okay, I'd like to go. I'm going to go. And that way, you've got people attending. If people are saying, I'll have a think, I'll have a see, it's not going to work.
No, just go and join them. It's nice. Yeah, I agree. I think, when you're trying to organise things and get dates and you have to register and you think, are people coming or not coming? I think it's good if you register, you know who's coming, you know how many people are coming. Putting a deposit down, maybe like £5 or something.
Yeah, make sure.
And you get it back if you turn up, and then you don't lose that space. So
Yeah,
what was it like back
lose
then?
it.
Yeah, we used to do that. Yeah. So deaf clubs back in the day, they used to be really busy, didn't they? Everyone used to go to the deaf club. Do you remember when they kind of started to decline, when the numbers started to go down? Yeah, it was when people started going out to the pub, really. How did you feel when that started to happen, when people started going to the pub instead? Well, I like meeting people and talking to people, but you go to the pub, you don't know who people are. Like I lived in Wembley. Romford was very different. You kind of learn the community and you catch up with people. But now everyone just moved away, moved to different places. So I'm still in touch with lots of good friends. Lots of different friends all over. So you still keep in contact. How do you do that? Is that through technology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the phone, you text them. But in the past, in the olden days, you'd just have one place you'd go to and you knew they'd be there. And maybe if they weren't there might be a bit of gossip, like, I wonder if they're ill, or I wonder if they've moved. It's very different, isn't it, back then?
Yeah, like my husband would go, right, we've arranged to meet at this place. And then you'd get there and you'd be waiting and you'd be waiting. And I said to him, like, why have you kept me waiting? You said, like, and then we'd agree, like, oh, if you're not there in half an hour, I'll go, because it's quite rude to keep somebody waiting. It's better manners to not be held up. So I think the attitude's a bit different now. People are rushed and in and out and just go.
You've got to be on time, right? Maybe wait 5 minutes. If they're not there, yeah, all right, we're off.
Off.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago, you'd wait for ages. You'd wait an hour for people. Just
I know.
be very patient. You had to develop a lot of patience. Yeah, it was terrible. Things have changed. Okay, let's look at my next question. Okay. So in the past, I remember, or do you remember what was really good? What was it that you think, they don't have that now. Like, I miss that. Was there anything that was really good about the past? Maybe a bit of thinking time.
Films, I think.
Yeah, tell me more.
The ones with the subtitles. I loved the subtitled films. I as soon as they were on, I would be there. I loved watching them.
Yeah.
Really did.
And what about now? They've all got subtitles, haven't they? Yeah, everywhere.
It's marvellous, isn't it? When places don't have it as an option, like before, I'd be like, right, I'm there. Whenever it's on, I have to catch the showing and I'd be able to see the film that I wanted.
Yeah, they flick between channels.
Yeah, oh, it was lovely.
Life's very different, isn't it? Back then, it was kind of they might have not had subtitles. They did have subtitles, and if they did, everyone would go and watch. And Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah.
different. Now you can pause it. Yeah, do some work first, watch it later. Yeah, I actually remember me and my husband one day went to the cinema to see a picture, and there was no subtitles or something. And I think we'd go and watch kind of foreign films, and it might be like 2 a.m, but you'd go there. We'd really enjoy them because they'd have English subtitles. It was worth it. Yeah, it was really good. We used to go there quite regularly, maybe about 4 times actually. Okay, so back at that time, you lived in England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and deaf people all had different signing. But were there any deaf people from abroad? Did you meet deaf people who'd kind of travelled, who had different sign languages? Like how did you find out where people were going? There's no technology back then. I'm trying to think, like, how did you know where to go?
No. I think, with the war, everything shifted. That was a really difficult time, and it's difficult to make connections with Europe because of it.
Yeah, kind of there was war in Europe, wasn't there? Yeah, when I was a baby, 1944, the war was still going on, World War Two.
Yeah, and I was just before. I was
Oh,
I was a
how
war
did you
baby.
survive?
Yeah, I lived through the bombings. It was awful. You'd feel the shock. My mother and father were deaf, and our neighbours would literally come and bang on our door, and there would be a piece of string that you tie around your foot to the door handle. So my father would literally be getting pulled because somebody was pulling on the door handle, and then would get in the Anderson shelter or the one under the table as well, and would hide. And I remember like it's just so dirty, and you'd get bits and bugs in your hair, and it wasn't pleasant, and I didn't like it, and I'd feel really, really itchy and dirty. Yeah, it was
It's
awful.
horrible. Awful. So you were a baby. You weren't born. Same as
No,
me.
I
You were born
wasn't.
after the war. But so that experience of war, wow. Wow, that's
Yeah, and
incredible.
you just had to get on. It was a really, really, really hard time.
Yeah, when I was younger, there wasn't as much food either. You had to queue up for ages. I've actually just been handed some extra questions because everyone's very interested in what we're talking about. So, sign language today, BSL today, was it different in the past? Do you think it's changed? Oh, very much so. It was SSE, very heavily SSE. You go maybe on a course and learn level 2. Or when I went on a course, to learn level 2, it was a shock. Had to turn my voice off. So at that time, you'd try and speak and sign, would you? Yeah, to some extent. And then when I had to turn my voice off to try and kind of practice, it was a shock. And just the movement was different. Kind of, you'd go to different areas, and yeah, it was different. Like, yeah, the south, the north. You maybe sign something and you think, oh, that was wrong, and then you'd move on, and it took over maybe a year, 1.5 years to learn, and yeah, I got my certificate, and I got my level 1, and yeah, you'd be able to help people, and so yeah, I'd come and do a few more years. And it was strange. It didn't feel normal. But I was happy to come, and there were people in wheelchairs. So I was helping lots of people. So I remember when I was little, I'd go to deaf clubs, and people would always say, "Oh, what school did you go to?"
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, but with me, I didn't really want to give the answer because, I was up from Scotland, so there weren't anybody who I could connect with.
So people would ask you, and you'd kind of not say it, just hold it inside.
Yeah, and because obviously I wanted to escape. It was different being from Scotland and people not knowing that school.
Okay, and do you think signs change? Do you think it's different nowadays?
Oh yeah, definitely different. It's not the same like It's the old style, like the signings changed.
Give me an example. Have you got an example?
I don't know. You just know it's different. People are signing different to how I sign now.
Like, is it different words, you think? What do you think it is?
Well, like, it's even like with Scotland, they had the regional signs. There's a lot more finger spelling there
Same
was
as
back
here,
then,
yeah.
and in Scotland.
Lots of finger spelling in the past, wasn't there? Now it's a lot more kind of
Yeah.
visual signing.
And a lot of people go, I don't get that, I don't get there. And there I am. I love to finger spell. That's how I learned to sign. And there's very few people that can read, really.
I think that's right. You know, my mum was here and she could sign, but she's a lot of finger spelling. A bit older, you know, she's 77. But she does a lot of finger spelling. So I'm really good at understanding finger spelling.
I don't.
Yeah, but I think people maybe now not so much.
No, like my sister doesn't sign. I have to lip read with her, and that's really difficult.
And your husband, Steph, do you sign or do you finger spell?
So we both signed together. So he went to Margate School.
Okay, let's have a look at my next question. This is a good one. So England and Scotland, or the UK, they've got beaches, you know, the seaside. Was the seaside different back then? Do you think it was different?
Oh, yeah, it was jam-packed. You'd love to go and travel and play with your bucket and spade on the sandy beaches. But even now, most of them are full of stones.
Yeah, I love the sand.
Yeah, I love the sand.
Why are there so many stones? I miss the sand as well.
I know.
I think it was overcrowding, you know. I think there was just... It used to be loads of people would go there. It was mad.
Mm-hmm.
And now you think less
Oh,
people
yeah.
go. Yeah, definitely fewer now. Definitely. I think people go abroad now, don't they? Yeah, they jump on planes and off they go. Do you remember the first time, Roby, you went to a beach in the UK?
Well, Scotland has plenty of beaches.
That's right.
But then when I moved down to England, it was very difficult. We found like one beach, but you had like one that was sort of near. That was really difficult to get to. And I did love the beach. I love to swim in the sea. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I love the sea air. But at the same, like, it's lovely to be in England. Like, I really appreciate what I had now and the life that I've got and my friends.
Yeah.
Everybody's very helpful to each other, and I really appreciate that.
I think it's true. England and Scotland are really beautiful countries. They're so green. They're lovely. I remember I've worked all over. I've done lots of travelling. When you see the sunrise in the morning, it's so beautiful over the English countryside. Okay, I've been given more questions. Everyone's enjoying this lots. So food, English food. Was it different in the past? Is it the same?
Different, very different.
Very different. What's so different? What's so different?
A lot of foreign foods we've got over here now, even like
Loads
pasta.
of foreign food. Yeah, loads.
Very, very different bits of food. I feel I'm a bit boring now with what I
It's
eat.
boring, really. You think food in the past was better? You miss it?
Yeah, I do miss it actually.
What was it like back then?
Haggis.
They still have that today?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
actually,
never
do you know, I
tried
love
it.
that. Yeah, I used to have that all the time. Yeah, I'm half Scottish actually. My father was Polish. Yeah, I'm English. So in the old days, what was food like? Well, a long time ago. It's kind of old-fashioned, maybe. So, I still love a Sunday roast,
Yes.
very much. So, you do that? Yeah,
Love it. You're right there.
yeah. I still love that. That's not changing. That's something that's been the same for years, right? It's a tradition.
Yeah, I still do that too. But I think some of the other foods, we've got a lot more variation of foreign food. Some of it's really interesting. I actually quite enjoy the mix we have now.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. So I think there's lots more foreign food today. Why do you think we keep the old ways? Why do you think things change?
Laziness.
I think things are just a bit different. Everything's different, isn't it?
No, people are just buying convenience food. I think that's the thing.
People just want to chuck stuff in the microwave, don't they? And be a bit lazy.
Right.
No time to do any cooking.
I used to be so busy in the kitchen compared to now. I feel like people have an easier life.
You think it's easier today compared to back then?
Food-wise, yeah. With what you can eat, and like it's easy to buy now what you like. There's sort of, you can look at a menu and think, oh, okay, this looks nice, that looks nice. But previously there wasn't as much.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Okay, this is a good question. So, when you were younger at that time, how did you get interpreters? Did you even have interpreters? How did you communicate with hearing people? Did you have to kind of pass notes between you or gesture? Or how did that work?
No, there wasn't an interpreters. No, I remember it was really hard to find an interpreter. There were hardly any about.
It was really difficult.
So... But I liked that you did what you could. Like, you would write and use pen and paper. You'd use your voice and try and speak with people. Whereas now, like, it's different. You know, like, we'd use a lot of finger spelling, even with hearing people.
What was it like back then for you?
I didn't have interpreters.
Maybe no work. What about doctors?
No.
I remember when I used to go, I'd have to write things down for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and they'd pass it back, but you wouldn't understand what it said, and you have to change it to deaf words, you know, like more deaf friendly, and then it was a bit better. Now you have to have interpreters. Now the doctors want interpreters, I think, you know, and it's really good. It's great. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it seems like interpreters have. Like the numbers have grown, haven't they? I rely on interpreters at the doctors. It's my health. It's medical stuff. You know, we're deaf. We need a high level of information. You know, we deaf people have worse health outcomes than hearing people. So it's important to stay safe. Yeah, you get lots of foreign doctors now. You didn't have that. I had a Russian doctor. Very good. Very, very good. Knew exactly what to do, and we had an interpreter, and you know, at that time it was great. It's interesting. I actually remember my first kind of doctor, like English doctor, and I think there are a few more foreign doctors now than there used to be.
Yeah, I remember back when the doctors used to come to your house and do home visits, but that's not allowed anymore. You've got to get to the surgery.
Yeah, that's right. If you were ill, the doctor would come to you, wouldn't they? They'd have their briefcase and their suits, and now they make you go.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I never thought of that.
Yeah, 2020. Oh my gosh, in COVID. It happened to me. I was meant to be on a cruise for 3.5 months, and halfway through, everything started. COVID started to spread, and when we got home, oh my gosh, it felt like a ghost. You got home and you'd stay at home. You couldn't go anywhere, could you? So that was about a month of staying at home and just pottered along. And then I think I was feeling a bit ill, and I was waiting for a doctor, and I was really shocked because they had masks, and it was a real shock when I saw the doctor, and even just trying to communicate, and they took my blood pressure and all that stuff, but it was so frightening when they had all the PPE, the equipment on, and you felt like you were in a film, didn't you? It's like being in a film. Like now you think, really, is that what it was like? So Roby, you've been through the war, and we're talking about COVID. When COVID happened, do you think it was similar experiences to kind of what people went through?
It was difficult.
Oh, I think war was really, really terrible. COVID was serious. Yes, but the war was, awful. It was happening all over. People were allowed out their houses. Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Mhm.
We were safe in our houses during COVID. At least, COVID, you could catch it, but I suppose you weren't even safe, were you, in the war?
Same like people renting their homes back in the day and owning your homes. That's completely different now. More people own their homes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, that's another change I've accepted.
Okay, I've got so many more questions. So, someone was saying that back in the day, back in the past, there were challenges. But what kind of challenges do you think there were for deaf people? What barriers did you face in the past? What were the most difficult things to navigate? What was really hard back then?
Just had to get on with things.
There were different things really that were quite frustrating. If you had to go somewhere, it was really difficult at first. I think it was difficult, like with my son and daughter. It was just too much. You relied on your children quite a lot. That was really hard for lots of things. Now I think we're more aware. So yeah, you might pass notes to communicate maybe, or someone won't understand back then. But now, there's lots of new words as well I'm a bit fed up with. That's right, isn't it? English words have changed, vocabulary's changed. Like, how do you cope with that? Like, how do you manage all the new vocab, all the new language?
You don't. It's hard. I have to ask my daughter, what does this word mean? 'Cause, yeah, there's so many new and different words about.
Yeah, sometimes you have a dictionary and the explanation is just not good enough. Yes. Okay, so like, what about abbreviations like LOL, like laugh out loud? They abbreviate it, don't they, to LOL? What about those kind of words? All those like new slang words. Like, what are they?
No, I don't get them. I don't know
really
them.
different, aren't they? Yes, my son tells me about that, like LOL. And he told me it meant lots of love. I thought it meant laugh out loud. Well, apparently it means lots of love.
No.
What about all the kisses? You used to put XXXXX?
I can't remember now. Sorry.
I can't remember.
Ooh, my memory's going.
Yeah, well, there's been lots of changes, aren't there? But I've got a few more questions for you. Another one. So we've got a question from Emma, who's watching at home. Hello, Emma. What advice would you give to younger people today?
Ooh.
Do you mean deaf people? Yeah, deaf young people. What advice have you got for them? Like, how can they look after themselves? You've got a lot of life experience, 90s, 80s, 60s. How do you... What advice can you give to younger people?
Yeah, so I think for younger deaf people, like there's someone who wants to meet like younger other deaf people. I think we need to be welcoming in the younger deaf generation, because it can be really tricky to get them sort of included. They can feel quite uncomfortable. Like there's somebody called George. But basically, it's really difficult. We need to encourage younger deaf people to get more involved and meet other older deaf people as well. And it's really important, say like every 2 weeks, to get involved and to continue signing, because then that way they can improve their sign language skills, they can improve their interactions with deaf people. And I think the deaf community should be helping people who want to sign. It's helping us, and we need to help them. And we should respond to people's...
Yeah, what about you guys? Any advice for younger deaf people, children?
I don't know.
Well, what about your grandchildren? What advice do you give to your grandchildren? Do you have any advice to them? What advice do you give to your grandchildren? Come on.
I don't know. I can't think of something.
Okay, it's fine. suppose I like to kind of teach them how to like look after money, and I've got 3 sons. They're really, really good. Don't let things bother them. So yeah, we can learning to cook. I think really, allowing them to cook's a good idea. Yeah, we were talking before, weren't we, about microwave meals. So I think learning to cook probably is a good skill to teach them. Yeah, doing laundry, things like that.
Beef?
Maybe doing some gardening. Yeah, getting some gardening. Yeah, I think that's right. Make them appreciate nature rather than being on their phones all the time and staring at technology. Something real.
Yeah. I think like beef, sausages, like traditional foods we need to teach as well. Some of them are coming back. But then I love some of these foreign foods, like curries.
I love curries. I miss that sometimes. Sorry. Talking about food, making everyone hungry.
I know.
Okay, lovely. So we've spoken lots about how things have changed, but we're here in Cambridge today. Did you come to Cambridge when you were little?
I only after I was married, I came here and came to the deaf clubs in Cambridge.
How many years have you been in Cambridge then?
Ooh, 41. I've been married and with my husband longer than when I was a child.
Oh, wow,
my parents.
A long time, 40 years. Wow.
Yeah, so his parents were deaf. They came here as well. And then I got married and then I came here.
Lovely. Have you been to Cambridge? Did you come to Cambridge when you were younger? No.
No, never.
When did you first visit Cambridge?
It was through my mother forcing me to take David out. And I thought, oh, okay, he's got to go somewhere. So I took him to Cambridge. No, sorry, not Cambridge. That was London.
Oh, but Cambridge, we're talking about Cambridge now.
No, No, it was London when I had to take David. Like I said, the first deaf person I met in London.
Amazing.
Yeah, and the first time, and it's like when you're trying to meet deaf people, and in Scotland it was really sort of a different deaf community. And like I said, like I'd fingerspell, and someone was fingerspell to me on purpose, trying to be mean, and I'd fingerspell back because I'd got it. And then they'd be like, "What's your name?" and "What's this?" and we'll be talking about football, and they're like, brilliant, they know this footballer, and we'll just get chatting like that. But sometimes the conversations would like continue about football, and I didn't know what was going on. We weren't too fussed about it really. And it was my father who loved the football, and he was a fan.
It's interesting. I think you're right. Back then people would say, "Oh, where are you from?" And you could kind of, you knew. Whereas now, people, you don't know. You might ask their name and where you're from, but people don't know each other in the same way, do they?
Sometimes they'd say, "How much money you got in the bank?"
They've asked you that?
No, I'm teasing. But they do look at your car and go, "Oh, all right, that's quite good. I think you're on a bit of money there."
Well, do you think that's still the same today?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're nosy. She's nosy over here.
Yeah, well, you think, wow, what a nice car. Maybe shoes. Oh, look at this shoes. Very expensive shoes. Yeah. Very expensive clothes. Must have some money. Do you think that's the same? Do you think people did they look at your car and your clothes and your shoes back in the day? Okay, so that's one thing that is still the same. Okay, so Cambridge. When did you first come to Cambridge? Oh, it was only about 7 years ago. Oh, really? So not when you were younger at all, never. So, yeah, no, I was born kind of York, went up to Scotland, moved to London, lived in Wembley, deaf school. yeah, met my husband. He lived in London, was in Wembley, so we'd travel to meet each other. Okay, so you've been here 7 years, 14 years
Mhm.
for.
I don't know. I've lost count of how many
That's-
years I've been here now.
Wow, a lot of years. So, what do you think? Do you think the buildings have changed?
Dirty. There's a lot of building work.
No buildings back then.
And they're building so many now in Cambridge.
Are you sad about that, or you think it was nicer when it was quieter, when there was less?
Yeah, I loved it when it was quiet. It's now everyone's in such a rush. It
Not-
used to be such a quiet city.
It wasn't like that before. I mean, I remember when I was younger, I came to Cambridge quite a lot because I was only in Luton, so I had family here, an uncle here. Everyone would bike all the time. You'd see bikes
Mhm.
everywhere. Now you don't see so many.
Yeah, and sometimes they'd wear those flying suits. And
Yeah, I remember there was a
And
flap
there'd be,
behind
like,
you.
flapping away while you're cycling.
You don't see that so much anymore, do you? Yeah, when you'd pass people, there'd be loads of people walking around in Cambridge. Yeah, I've seen them. So you think there's more cycling or less cycling? I think it depends. I think it kind of changes. I think it depends. So do you think it's safer now? Because we've
Yeah.
got lots of cycling paths, haven't we? Whereas it wasn't like that before. Oh, I always had a bike. Or you get quite scared when you see bikes coming. You risk falling over if they're going to hit you. So it's quite dodgy, really.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you're walking around, maybe it's a bit different. You have to be a bit more cautious of the bikes back in the day because they weren't on separate paths, whereas now they are. Yes, that's right. They've got the bollards, haven't they, that bikes can't go through, so it's a bit safer for you to walk through. Okay, so there's lots of buildings, lots more traffic.
Yeah, and they've closed lots of places, like the Grafton Centre. That's closed.
Why did they do that?
They're building a new shopping mall. That's why. I don't know. There's so many new things going on.
Oh, I can see in your face how sad you are.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's like a ghost town, honestly. You
What are
look
we talking
around and it's
about?
just empty.
What are we saying?
You know the Grafton Centre?
I don't know what that is.
Yes, the shopping mall. Yeah, the shopping centre inside. Yeah, that
I've-
old one.
I've no
Yeah,
idea.
it's closed down now.
So some of the old buildings are still here, aren't they? Like King's College, that's
Yep.
still here. I think we're
that's
quite
worth a bit.
lucky that's not been taken down. Yeah, I've been around there with friends and look around. So there are lots of older buildings and there's new buildings kind of juxtaposed. Do you think they kind of suit the style? They suit each
No.
other?
It feels like they just take over. I don't like it. It just feels like they're cramming so much in as well.
Loads of flats as well,
yeah,
aren't there? I've
too
seen
many.
loads of like apartment buildings. Well, my home actually, it's really quiet where I am. There are lots more buildings. It's been quite surprising. There are some. I like big houses rather than like loads of like terraced houses. I like family houses. Maybe with like 5 bedrooms. And now when you come, there's just terraced houses. Loads of terraced houses. Yeah, so it doesn't really suit me. I like I like a bit more space. And when I've been to like Chingford or different places like that, I think it might be somewhere like 20 miles away from here, and it might be closed, or maybe you have to go somewhere else. And sometimes you see new buildings that aren't finished. There's lots of works going on, and you'd go there and it'd be finished. Whereas now, so I've been here 7 years now. Wow, so lots of new buildings, lots of growth. So in the past, would you say maybe 50 million, now 70 million?
I don't know, more than that,
You think kind
surely.
of people in Cambridge?
you think about the world, the population is just expanding, probably by too much. I don't know.
Okay, well, I want to say thank you so much for your time. People have been watching. Everyone's so grateful. I'm grateful. Valerie, Fiona, Roba. It's been so lovely and so interesting, kind of remembering the past and thinking about that. It's really, so grateful. Thank you. I wish we had more time. I've got so many more questions, but we do have to kind of bring it to a close. Next month, we have a Thrive special episode. It's one real special guest is coming along. And we've got 2 artists coming to teach us something. So it'll be a bit of a different time. So it's a special episode. It's part of International Women's Day. It's the 8th of March, International Women's Day. So women all over the world are going to be celebrated. And Thrive Live will be on Friday the 6th of March. So just before we leave, I do want to say a big thank you to Sign Wow for sponsoring this episode and supporting this conversation. Sign Wow is a telephone interpreting service, a video service, so you can access it on your iPad or on a laptop or on your phone. So it's a bit like using something like Zoom or Teams. It's really similar. You can access an interpreter. You can make calls with people. You can talk to people. It's a really important, really valuable service. And also another big thank you to CDA for this lovely space that we've been able to use today. Yeah, round of applause for CDA. CDA also have a service called Hearing Help. That service is for hearing aid repair. It's for any kind of issues you might have with your hearing aids. Any problems you've got, you can come along and they'll help you work out if the battery's gone or try and fix any issues that are going on, any issues you've got. So goodbye. Thank you.